Imagine this. GE Capital Aviation Services, one of the biggest aircraft leasing companies in the United States, just placed an order for 20 brand new planes. But these aren't the usual Boeing or Airbus jets you'd expect. Instead, they chose China's C919, a relatively new passenger aircraft that's starting to gain serious international attention. The deal? A massive $2.2 billion. This announcement sent shockwaves through the aviation world. Why? Because Boeing and Airbus have dominated global skies for decades. Boeing, especially, is seen as a symbol of American engineering, with decades of proven designs and a huge global fleet. So when a major U.S. company decides to pick a Chinese aircraft over a Boeing, people notice. The C919 is still young and still proving itself. Yet here it is being backed by a giant that understands the aviation business better than most. This brings up a big question. Why would GE Aviation take a chance on a newcomer like the C919 when Boeing and Airbus have decades of experience, strong safety records, and trusted reputations? Is it just price? Or is there something deeper about China's new aircraft that's shaking the old system? Stick with me, because today we're taking a deep dive into this surprising order, the story behind the C919, why it matters, and what it could mean for the future of global aviation. For over 70 years, the skies have been ruled almost entirely by two major players, Boeing and Airbus. Think of them like the unbeatable tag team champions of the commercial aviation world. Boeing from the US and Airbus from Europe have built the vast majority of aircraft flying passengers around the world. Their dominance wasn't by chance. It came from decades of innovation, billions spent on research, and strong safety reputations that airlines could depend on. This created a duopoly, meaning these two companies controlled nearly the whole market with almost no real competition. Airlines trusted them for performance, reliability, and global service networks. Both had the certifications needed to fly anywhere, which is crucial in heavily regulated aviation. For a long time, it seemed nearly impossible for any newcomer to break into this elite club. Building a large passenger aircraft isn't as simple as assembling parts. It requires advanced knowledge in engineering, aerodynamics, safety, and manufacturing. On top of that, any new jet must pass strict international inspections before airlines will even consider purchasing it. That's where China entered the picture. Known for rapid growth and big ambitions, the Chinese government and its aviation industry set out to create their own large passenger jet, the C919, aiming to challenge Boeing and Airbus's monopoly. At first, many experts doubted whether China could design a jet that met global standards and compete internationally. Would airlines trust a Chinese aircraft, or would they see it as risky and untested? In the next section, we'll explore how China confronted these doubts head-on and the breakthroughs that helped shift global opinion on the C919. Building a brand new airplane is like scaling a mountain, and the C919's journey was full of steep climbs. When China first announced the project, many aviation specialists questioned whether it could meet the strict safety and performance rules required for commercial aircraft. One major challenge was proving the plane's safety and reliability. Early test flights were heavily scrutinized by critics expecting delays or issues. But in May 2017, the C919 successfully completed its first test flight. A major milestone not only for China, but for its goal of entering the global market. Next came certification. To fly anywhere in the world, an aircraft must meet strict airworthiness standards set by aviation authorities. China's regulators pushed hard to ensure the C919 passed these tests, eventually earning key certifications that opened the door for international buyers. As confidence slowly grew, airlines from several countries began showing interest. Smaller carriers from Brunei, Thailand, and Germany placed early orders, helping build credibility one step at a time. This steady progress slowly transformed the C919 from a doubted newcomer into a real competitor. By overcoming these early challenges, the C919 proved that China could design and safely operate a modern commercial aircraft. And this set the stage for the major orders that followed, including the surprising one from GE Capital Aviation Services. Once the C919 proved itself in testing and received certifications, it started to gain real ground in the market. Today, it holds over 1,200 orders from 36 airlines worldwide. For a jet that only completed its first test flight less than a decade ago, that's honestly huge. What makes this even more impressive is the mix of customers, both Chinese airlines and international carriers from Southeast Asia and Europe. This shows the C919 isn't just a domestic project, it's slowly becoming a global competitor. But the biggest shock came when GE Capital Aviation Services, a major U.S. aircraft leasing company, ordered 20 C919 jets worth $2.2 billion. This marked the first time a top American company openly purchased Chinese passenger jets, breaking the long-held pattern of sticking strictly to Boeing or Airbus. This order wasn't just about buying planes. It signaled recognition that the C919 is a competitive and reliable choice in global aviation. For the industry, this moment suggested that new players are entering the market and shifting the dynamics. This growing presence leads to the key question: why would a major American company pick the C919 instead of the familiar Boeing or Airbus models? The answer comes down to cost efficiency and changing global conditions, which we'll break down next. One of the biggest reasons GE Capital Aviation Services chose the C919 is cost. Specifically, how much it costs to buy and operate. Let's compare prices. The C919 is listed at around $99 million per aircraft. A Boeing 737 MAX 8 costs about $121.6 million. An Airbus A320neo is roughly $110.6 million. That makes the C919 nearly 20% cheaper than Boeing's model and around 10% cheaper than the Airbus version. When you're buying 20 planes at once, that price gap becomes massive. But it isn't just about the purchase price. The C919 also offers competitive fuel efficiency, using less fuel per mile compared to older aircraft. In aviation, fuel is one of the biggest expenses, so even small improvements lead to huge savings over time. It's like buying a car that costs less upfront and saves you money on fuel and maintenance for years. For airlines and leasing companies, keeping operating costs low while maintaining reliability is the name of the game. And with global economic uncertainty, higher fuel prices, inflation, and pressure to cut costs, companies are more careful than ever about the value they get. In short, the C919's cost-effectiveness and competitive efficiency made it a smart financial choice for GE, fitting perfectly into a market that demands lower costs without giving up performance. Beyond price, two other major factors boosted the C919's appeal: safety and availability. Let's start with safety. Boeing's 737 MAX suffered serious setbacks after two tragic crashes in 2018 and 2019. These accidents led to worldwide groundings and damaged trust in Boeing's aircraft. Airlines and leasing firms began looking elsewhere because safety is the #1 priority. Meanwhile, China worked tirelessly to demonstrate that the C919 is safe. After successful test flights and earning multiple certifications, confidence in its safety grew. To receive certification, a plane must meet global standards, proving that it can operate safely anywhere in the world. Now let's look at availability. Boeing and Airbus have struggled with production delays and supply chain issues in recent years, slowing delivery times. Airlines need planes quickly, not years later. This created a rare opening for a newcomer. China has been ramping up production capacity for the C919 with fewer delays, making it a practical option for companies that need aircraft sooner rather than later. So, with safety questions surrounding Boeing, rising confidence in the C919, and supply shortages affecting the usual giants, the C919 suddenly became a more attractive option. Now, it's important to understand the C919 isn't entirely a made-in-China alone product. Behind the scenes, it's actually the result of global cooperation. China didn't build the C919 completely by itself. The project includes major international partners and suppliers, including several American companies. For example, GE Aviation, the same company that ordered 20 C919s, also supplies the aircraft's engines. This means GE benefits financially whether the plane succeeds or not. They're directly tied to its success. This global partnership model shows how interconnected aviation has become. American companies like GE gain business through supplying key components, while China benefits from using proven technologies to build a competitive aircraft. The order from GE Capital Aviation Services reflects this mutual advantage. It's more than a purchase. It's a symbol of cooperation and growing trust between Chinese and American aviation industries. The U.S. gains business, and China gains credibility. So the C919 isn't just competition. It represents a new form of collaboration reshaping the aviation world. So, what does all this mean for the future of aviation? While the C919 still holds a smaller share compared to Boeing and Airbus, its presence is steadily increasing. With competitive pricing, improving performance, and backing from international suppliers, the C919 is positioning itself as a real challenger. As more airlines and leasing companies adopt it, and as it gains more flight hours without issues, the long-standing Boeing-Airbus duopoly may begin to weaken. The C919 might help rewrite the rules of the commercial aviation market, creating more competition and innovation. This shift also reflects a broader change in global technology and manufacturing, with China moving from being just a customer for planes to becoming a major producer. If you want to stay updated on this fast-changing story and see how the aviation world continues to evolve, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.